Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. What's going on, everybody out there? Simba Ali, you're watching the #1 content show out of Minnesota, Big Talk. We are back again. How's everybody out there doing? Of course, we got to talk about today's hot topics, and what better way to kick off the show than to talk about Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Sorry, Muhammad Kellerman, if you didn't know. If you didn't know no better, his name is Muhammad Kellerman. This was great. This was needed. You know what I mean? Ever since they split, we needed this, right? We needed this. You can't have a show as impactful and as polarizing as First Take with two figures like Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. And then all of a sudden they split and we don't know what happened, right? Now, remember when they split, Stephen A. was able to talk for some reason. I don't know what happened, something that may have to do with the contracts, but Stephen A. talked, right? Stephen A. talked, but we didn't hear from Max. So it seemed kind of one-sided. So you had people who were friends of Max, Marcellus Wiley. You had people who were friends of Max Kellerman, Marcellus Wiley, who were like, well, Stephen A. Smith said that ain't everything. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. And again, it was, you had to feel it. You almost had to listen to Marcellus Wiley to kind of understand what Max was feeling, because Max wasn't talking. He was like Colin Kaepernick. Like, he made such a, then we wanted to ask him questions and he wasn't talking. So anywho, finally Max Kellerman has came out, spoke his piece, and he didn't hold any punches. Literally. He called himself Muhammad Kellerman. Now that's deep. I was like, word? Muhammad Kellerman? That's how you feel, Max? Play box one of Max Kellerman talking about his relationship with Stephen A. Smith.
It meshed as a show perfectly. I don't know the answer to that, but I just didn't think that was the right way to handle it.
If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person,
yeah,
why would you want me as a partner? That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. It's embarrassing,
So you think that was part of it? He didn't want to put the time in? Or like just wanted a different type of show? What's your take looking back 2 years later?
I don't think it has to do with put the time in. It's, it's a debate show.
You're ready to roll on all topics.
You want to if you're... I have an idea. This is what I want to put on TV. I want to spar Bud Crawford every day for 15 rounds, and I want everyone to see it. Eventually, you're going to say, I don't want to do that anymore.
Can you bring it?
Right? So Max came back talking that ish. Max came back talking his ish. And it was good. It was good to know. Yeah, talk your stuff, Max. But you got to know when you're dealing with somebody like Stephen A. Smith, a person who is known to speak his mind. One thing that you can't say about Stephen A. Smith is that he won't say what he feels. That's one thing you can't say about Stephen A. Smith. People can say different things about him, but one thing you cannot say about him is that he's not going to say what he feels. He's going to say what he feels. Now, maybe it might be different now because he's trying to run for office, so he might feel some things and keep him to himself. But for the most part, especially when it comes to sports. So, as you guys seen, Max Kellerman kind of talked about what it was like to work with Stephen A. Smith and what happened with the break and the split. And he was saying that basically what it seemed like Max was saying is that Max was too good of a debater, that Max was too intellectual for somebody that didn't have his level of expertise or intelligence or his gift of gab. It was too hard for somebody who wasn't on his level to come and sit with him every single day. It gets tiring. Like you said, it's like sparring Bud Crawford every day. He's like, it's fun when you want to do it once in a while, but every day, you know what I mean, in front of people, like Max was talking that shit. No, Max was talking his shit, and I like that. So, and that was on the Bill Simmons podcast. If you guys don't know, that's the Bill Simmons podcast. You can check that full interview out. But and then Stephen A. Smith, that floated around for a minute. And, one of the people I couldn't wait to hear talk about it was Marcellus Wiley. When Max spoke, I was like, man, I want to hear what Marcellus Wiley has to say, because that's Max's partner. So, and Marcellus did do a couple episodes that were great and gave us a little bit more insight into what was going on. But then, Stephen A. Smith had to come back, right? Stephen A. Smith had to come back and say, wait, whoa. Hi-yo, Silver. You know what I'm talking about? Like, wait a second, fam. Y'all ain't just gonna do this not to sass. Play box 7 with Stephen A. Smith responding.
That all I want to say is, are you really sure you want to go there? See, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Are you sure you want to go there? Because I'm not unless you take me there. Now, to backtrack, we worked for 5 years together, 2016 to 2021. And yes, I didn't think we worked together any longer. I did not want to do a debate show with Max Kellerman. But if you agree with one another doing radio, so be it. If you agree with one another doing a debate show, it's not a debate show. So the responsibilities, the onus, the obligations that come with what me and Max were doing were entirely different than what y'all were doing. So how would you understand? You don't. Once again, you're speculating, swearing up and down you got facts when you don't. You have a perspective from one side. If somebody wants to go out and think that I have a speck of fear of debating anyone, anytime, any place, fine, go ahead and believe that. If you want to ignore what you saw over the airways for 5 years when I was on the air sitting across from him, fine. What you're missing is, again, a debate. It was a debate show. It's nothing personal. This is not 2009, ladies and gentlemen, when I got fired. I didn't get my contract renewed. We keep forgetting, since y'all loved Max Kellerman so much and people felt like, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? You keep forgetting that when he departed from First Take, he got not one, but 2 shows. He had a radio show in the morning immediately. And he also had an afternoon show on ESPN that was his own show. He still kept his boxing show, and I can assure you there was no pay cut. I got fired.
Now that was a good take by Stephen A. Smith. He gave it. He spoke real. He spoke direct, but he was very mature. And I'm starting to understand that Stephen A. Smith, if he doesn't like you, he kind of tends to get over emotional. But you can see that he doesn't have any disdain or dislike for Marcellus Wiley. They have a few things that they see differently about, right? But he doesn't. You can clearly see that he doesn't dislike Marcellus Wiley, and he doesn't dislike Max, right? It's literally and honestly just a difference of preference of how you want the show to go, right? And I can feel Stephen A. little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I can feel Stephen A. Smith. Like, if you guys don't know, one of the nuclear bombs that was dropped during the time that Stephen A. Smith and Max was on the show was Terrell Owens saying this.
I'm in the streets. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. With his coming, with his commentary.
With all due respect, my brother.
I'm just saying, dog.
Wait a minute. Wait to finish.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to check you right now. You don't cross the line.
I'm just saying.
T.O., damn it, T.O. You know what I'm saying? T.O., you just robbed us of a great show, man. If you could take T.O. off, if that never dropped, we'd still be watching First Take with Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. That dropped, and next thing you know, Max was gone the next day. I'm joking. These are jokes. I'm just hyperbolizing, right? But that's how it felt. But anyway, to be honest with you, I feel what Stephen A. Smith is talking about. And Stephen A. Smith right now, especially since signing that big deal with ESPN, he's like the dude in the high school that nailed the baddest chick in the high school, that she won't give nobody no pussy. Yeah, Tanisha won't give nobody no pussy. Then all of a sudden, Stephen A. Smith fucking nails her. And now Stephen A. Smith goes to the parties with Tanisha and all Tanisha's pretty ass friends that go to all the different high schools, and we want Stephen A. Smith to bring us. That's why everybody got to laugh at his jokes on First Take. And we got to rub Stephen A. Smith. We got to cradle his balls and shit because motherfucker, you want to get with Tanisha. Speaking hypothetically, Stephen A. Smith signed the money. But because Stephen A. Smith did that, sometimes Stephen A. Smith is now getting way more hate than he probably ever has before. But this is a situation, as much as I like Max and I thought that Max was great on the show, I understand why Stephen A. Smith said that it just wouldn't work. Max is ultra liberal. He's ultra left. I think he's a Jewish brother, a shalom aleichem. No, you know what I'm saying? Shalom aleichem. But he has a worldview that is very entwined with hip hop. Stephen A. Smith is not entwined with hip hop. And if you don't know the difference, it'll make you say silly things like, I'm at the barbecues and black people are saying Max is more black than you, like what Terrell Owens said. What Terrell Owens should have said is Max is more hip hop than you. That would be a true statement. Max is way more hip hop. What it means, the culture of hip hop, he's way more that than Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith would probably be jazz and R&B, right? Jazz and R&B. He likes Taylor Swift, for crying out loud, right? So if Stephen A. Smith is the brother on the show, and I got this ultra leftist liberal Jewish guy that's trying to out hip hop me, it can come across as difficult because he's trying to be right with the community of hip hop on everything, and I'm trying to be real with the community of America on issues pertaining to sports. You see what I'm saying? So if Max is trying to be right when it comes to culture, and Stephen A. Smith is trying to say what he feels when it comes to sports, then it comes across a lot like Stephen A. Smith sometimes would be the antagonist. You know what I mean? It started to make it seem like Stephen A. Smith was a sellout, like he wasn't with black people, because at that time, he didn't necessarily vibe with the hip hop culture the way that Max did, and it showed. So again, and it forced people to say, like Terrell Owens, that Stephen A. Smith isn't black or that Max was blacker, and that naturally caused a rift. I get it, man. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with no white dude about who's blacker. I'm not even gonna have that be an issue, fam. Especially if he feels it. Like, I feel like Max might have thought it too. He said he's Muhammad Kellerman. Max got some gumption on him, man. You think you blacker than me, huh? So anyway, that's what happened. I'm glad that Stephen A. Smith, like I said, the way that Stephen A. Smith talked about it was very mature. He gave Max his flowers. He didn't attack Max. I honestly thought he might come and attack Max. I honestly thought he might be upset with Max because Max kind of took some shots. He did take some shots at Stephen A., but he didn't. Stephen A. handled it professionally. He kept his respect intact with Max, so if he ever sees Max, nothing was said by him, by Stephen A. Stephen A. Smith might have something to say about Muhammad Kellerman and, taking rounds with Terrence Crawford. But Stephen A. Smith didn't say anything that he has to be like, you know what I mean? That I have to worry about when I see you. Not like physically, but just that, oh, damn, I said that now. What's our relationship like? He kept it really above the table, but he still said what he wanted to say. So great job, Stephen A. Smith. Great job, Max. Great job, Marcellus Wiley. Congratulations, First Take. Great content.